Hello, good morning everyone. Today we're going to talk about one of the topics for teachers from the ripple effects, and it's disruptive in class. It should not be surprising that test scores overall go down when a few students are allowed to disrupt the learning process, and I'm sure everyone at some point in their teaching career has dealt with this issue. The ripple effects is going to give you some tips and lessons on how to help this situation or help students. Students may disrupt the class for a variety of reasons. They may be bored and they want a little excitement. They may be trying to undermine the authority without risking outright defiance. They may want to divert attention away from them because a lot of them may have a learning problem, or that they may be feeling pressure and afraid that they're going to fail a test, so they're going to create a diversion. They may be trying to normalize themselves, especially if they're very gifted or have a serious learning disability. Students would prefer to disrupt the class and take the attention away from their learning problem if they have one. If they're self-conscious about their status, they may be trying to equalize relations with other students who they think may be superior to them. And that is a problem. Students may not feel like they're as good as another student, and they want to bring something that to the classroom that's just them. Maybe they're going to disrupt the class and cause the class to laugh, and therefore trying to be a part of a group. They may be covering pain of a difficult family situation, or they may be reacting to something or someone who is bothering them. And we know that is true. When you look into a student and individual students and you look at their situations and their environments and you learn more about that, then you will learn more about how they deal with that in the classroom. Some may have a genuine comic inside. A lot of kids are just funny and they like to entertain that way. If so, encourage them to develop this gift for comedy, but at an appropriate time. Maybe a show that the school's putting on or something like this. And you can have a hand signal to remind them, and that may be enough to remind them that, we know you're funny, we love to laugh at all your jokes and things, but right now we need to do some serious instruction. Disruptive in the class. Concern for ongoing disruptive behavior. It's characterized by clowning around, making smart remarks, joking, often at the expense of others. That may be happening. They drop things, they pass notes, they chatter among themselves, or they're poking their neighbors. And this could be elementary or high school or middle school. The description of disruptive behavior not only affects the teacher, it jeopardizes other students' ability and their opportunity to learn. So we owe it to those students and the students that are causing disruptions to help them understand what is going on and try to find out ourselves what we need to do for them. Some research has shown that it is the students in the middle who are most affected by the distractions and disruptions. That means the students that are high achievers may not even notice, or they may be so focused that they can't, that it doesn't bother them. Or it could be a the lower students, students that have problems already may find that as a welcome escape from what they're dealing with. And the kids in the middle who really need to focus, who are maybe your average learners, may be distracted by the disruptions. Goals of interventions, and these are some goals of interventions you can have with your students, if it's a special needs students or if it's a student that's not in special ed. It might be a student that just needs to know when to be funny or when not to disrupt the class, and you can do a little teacher-student contract with them. and use the ripple effects for their individual growth. Some of the goals for the goals of intervention: students will curb the disruptive behavior, increase overall impulse control, identify the underlying reason for the behavior, and that's probably one of the most important things, is to identify what the problem is under the behavior. Provide resources for dealing with those reasons, and provide an outlet for creative expression. If it's a comedy kid or comedian, and you can look at other ways that they can express their creativity that way. And if it's dealing with impulse control, disruptive behavior, you can provide resources. They may need to talk to the counselor. They may need behavior therapy. They may need some RTI interventions. A suggested scope and sequence for teens, and these are for your 6th through 12th grade students. And these are all found on Ripple Effects, and that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about all this stuff. This is one of the teachers' scope and sequence on the ripple effects for the staff. Okay, you want to start out with humor. You want to start out with strengths, and then you do that one. Then you want to do humor, and these are topics under disruptive behavior, and you go through these. Okay. Learning style, and that's a big one. A lot of kids have different learning styles, and we know that. Creativity, there's one for defying authority and dealing with authority. Put downs, controlling impulses, stopping reactions, predicting consequences, blurting out, learning disability, disrespected, bored, intelligences, trauma, following instructions, and conflict with teacher. When you go through all these in the scope and sequence, you're going to hit the kids that, and you're going to have an idea of how to deal with those and some ideas. And this is for the staff on the ripple effects. This is for the kids who are grades 2 through 5. You want to start with strengths, attention problems, reactions, learning style, picked on by peers, authority, predicting consequences, impulse control, blurting out, hands and feet. And we know that's one thing that all elementary teachers, most teachers have, especially for the little ones. They have a hands and feet to yourself rule. Learning problems, respect, smarts, instruction, following instructions, teacher problems, and connecting with others. This is suggested for scope and sequence for disruptive behavior, and you can use this as you can use it for a small group lesson. You can use it for a large group lesson. You can do it's effective for individual student, and it will just depend on the student's needs. And I want to thank you for joining me from the holler at KVEC, and it's been my pleasure. This will also be on the holler. You can see it there. And the next presentation I'm going to be doing, it's on supervision. And this is for it's 10 tips on supervision for anyone who supervises students. And this can go along with your ripple effects. And this is just some tips that you can also get from there. But thank you and goodbye.